Hello. Hello, Sam. Pick attack, Mr. Rookie. I did have fun. Hope you did as well. Hapless Hero. Congrats on a successful tournament in Worcester. Hello, Carrot. It is hot out today. Hello, Sam. Falco. Cutting grass lurk. I've done that before. I've listened to Twitch streams while cutting grass. It was worth the that week and a half is gonna go by pretty fast. We're gonna see it on Monday at PAX West, and we'll see. We're gonna see. I think next week we're gonna see 2 Splatoon 3 tournaments. Next week, 2 Splatoon 3 tournaments next week. Let that sink in. Hello, Splat-a-lot. Air sign. Welcome, welcome. I wasn't gonna ask about your low ink performance. You're one episode too late. We ain't talking about low ink today, I don't think. What's up, Brush? How was your Shine experience? I heard you got your ass handed to you by 9. Almost one at a time scramble. It's I do way worse with my time management when I play on an actual board and a clock versus online. Just because you can't pre-move. And you gotta spend more time thinking. Like it seems like it's harder to analyze the information you got on a board. Time a lot faster. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brush. I know you're concerned. I can cook. I think people know that. I've posted enough pictures of me cooking things. It's just a lot easier to, it's a lot easier just to get a little, when you're by yourself for a couple of days, it's just a lot easier just to get some microwavable stuff. Order a pizza or whatever. I haven't had a kid, I only got that kid cuisine just for the lulz. I haven't had one of those since I was, I mean, kid cuisine's not that good. It's pretty disgusting. Most people like pink burgers, Garrett. And there were some burgers that weren't pink, alright? There were some burgers that were pretty much anything but pink. You just picked the wrong ones. Kid, I had to get Miss Popgun to explain your wish tweet to me. I had no idea what it was, but it went nuts. Did it get 10K? Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. I saw it was at like 9K last time I looked at it. It's not at 10K just yet. If anyone's wondering what I'm talking about. I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand what it is. Miss Popgun explained it to me, now I got it. But yes, I did eat that kid cuisine, and no, I didn't cook it in a frying pan. I put it in a toaster. It wasn't listed on the cooking instructions to do that, but what do they know? Microwave? This is an Olive Garden. Applebee's. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify. While you're waiting at the terminal of the Boston International Airport, trying to get a chess side event going at a Splatoon LAN, hacking your Switch to scare everyone into thinking missiles got buffed, whatever it is that you're doing right now, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless we don't. Hey, if you can't get enough pop gun content in your life, find something else to do. But I am going to be on a Splat-a-lot podcast tomorrow. I believe the thing goes live at 6:30. I don't know what specific channel it's going to be on, or if it's just a Discord thing. I don't know, but someone in chat could probably provide more information on that. But my policy is, because I like having people on the show, like Rissa, who's going to be on today. If I'm available to be on somebody else's stream or show, I'm always going to say yes. The only reason I wouldn't say yes is if I think you're total garbage at what you do, or I'm just not available. So feel free to reach out and ask. I'll try to be as available as I can, because I want people to come onto my show. It's only fair I go into other people's shows. Hope everyone got back from Shine safely. Picked up my wife yesterday at the airport and had a good little debrief on everything that happened. The first major LAN that I missed, actually. I've been to Genesis 7. I was at Riptide. I was at Low Tide City. I missed Shine. And, well, at least we did have some Pop Gun representation there. If it was the wife instead of me. She had a great time. Maybe if she wasn't at dinner right now, I'd just bring her on. But she's out with some coworkers having a good time, which means me and old Pup Gun here, who's waiting for this episode to end so we can go outside, are just kind of stuck here. I hope she brings some food back, though. I ran out of kid cuisines. News of tournaments may be of interest to the casual listener of the Popcast. I don't know. I guess Dappled Productions is doing paddling pool, or there might be a Triton Cup this week. I don't know. Do any of you care? Like, do any of you even care about playing a Splatoon 2 tournament right now? I hope so, because we still got Riptide coming up. SAC Finals is this upcoming weekend on Saturday. So if you didn't make that, you can watch it. So there's that. But as far as stuff that you can play in, I think Dapples has their couple of weeklies that they're doing, and there might be some other thing going on that I don't know / don't care about, but so be it. So there you go. There's your tournaments for the week. Enjoy. Today we are going to be chatting with Rissa, one of the head TOs for Shine that came to a conclusion yesterday. That was a recorded episode. If you know anything about Rissa, she is currently probably flying right above me as we speak. So we pre-recorded this interview a few hours ago, literally at the airport. So we'll be giving you that to you guys later today. But first, I used to be so excited when I was a kid whenever I got an opportunity to play a brand new video game. One of my favorite things, my favorite memories of my childhood is going to Blockbuster and getting to pick out one new Super Nintendo game that I got to rent for 3 days. And you had to really invest like time into figuring out what game you're going to. Like I would spend like half an hour at Blockbuster looking over everything they had available and just thinking about, okay, could I beat this game in 3 days? Is this a game I'll even want to play? I don't even know what this game is. I got to look at the box art to figure out what the heck's even going on here. But it was just so exciting to just get a brand new video game and just take it home and plug it in and just see what would happen. And then Hollywood Video came around. In Hollywood Video, you could rent a game for 5 days through them, and it was like my mind was blown. Like 5 days, that's forever. I could just beat the game 20 times with that, and that was just so exciting. I remember sometimes being so excited, you know, that nervous kind of excitement where like you sometimes might throw up. You're so excited. Like that's how excited I was as a kid renting video games and just getting to experience something brand new for the first time. And I think that's kind of consistent with who I am today, is those older video games. If you look at my play history, Splatoon 2, I got a lot of hours. But I think the next two games most played on my Switch are the NES collection and the SNES collection, probably followed by the N64 one. Those are the games I grew up with. And I didn't really play a lot of video games when I went to high school because I was busy. Didn't really play a lot of video games in college either. I was really busy then. And it's not really now till I became an adult where I just have all this free time where it's like, okay, what am I going to do? And start playing video games again. And it's like, these games kind of suck, or they just don't do it for me like those old school games did. Playing Splatfest with my friends on Saturday was the first time in a long time where I felt like I was genuinely excited to be able to play a video game. Like Saturday, I legit felt like I was 8 years old again. And that was kind of a magical feeling for me. It wasn't like it's a brand new game, but it was a new experience in a game that I love so much in Splatoon 2 that it just felt so awesome to be able to play it with all of you, against some of you, with all of my friends, my teammates. It was just a great experience. So much fun was had on Saturday. I liked seeing all of the memes, too. It seemed like, for the first time, my Twitter feed extended beyond the competitive scene as far as Splatoon stuff that shows up on my Twitter feed is concerned. And it's just anything that got posted that was Splatoon related would get tens of thousands of likes, especially if it had something to do with Big Man. And that was cool to see. It felt like the competitive scene transcended itself. Not that like we brought more people in, but it felt like there was genuine buzz and excitement about Splatoon 3 across the entire scope of Splatoon, the Splatoon community, not just the very niche, very small competitive scene that we have here. And that was exciting to see as well. I liked experiencing the new maps. They were refreshing. I don't know how good they actually are in the game, like the actual ranked modes. I have no idea how good they're actually going to be. I saw somebody released that they data mined and was able to show what the maps look like for all of the modes. I haven't looked at it because I kind of just want to. First off, I don't really think that's a good thing to be doing, but I'd rather just wait and see the maps play out instead of just getting to feel, that we need to ban this map because of what I see it looks like from the overhead view instead of actually playing it. You still got to look through all those things. Before I get even deeper into the map stuff, I want to start off by talking about the tricolor thing, because I saw some wild takes from a lot of different people, and what I realized the further Saturday went on is that depending on what team you picked, your experience in tricolor was vastly different from everybody else. So I was Team Rock, which I was surprised was not in the lead at halftime. I don't know what metrics they used to determine who's leading at halftime. It seemed like it was just all three of them were tied right with each other, which could not have possibly been true. But my team was on the, the attacker, the two-person team, and Team Scissors was on the defensive side. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to play on the two-person team, and I teamed up with my Destiny Troop teammates one at a time, and we just went through and tried to do it. I searched through tricolor matches for 3 hours on a mix of with a friend and just by myself. In those 3 hours, I got into a tricolor lobby 4 times. Just 4 times. That's it. And I couldn't understand why that was the issue. I did see some things where it was like, hey, just a heads up, it's very likely that if you click the tricolor thing, you might get thrown into a 4v4 lobby. What they should have just said was like, hey, if you click the tricolor thing, it's just a total crapshoot if you actually end up here or not. We're just going to put you in the 4v4 regardless. Could you imagine if you clicked on ranked and like 90% of the time it just threw you into turf war instead of ranked? Like, that's what that experience was. You got to just keep hitting it because you want to keep trying to get into it, but we never got into it. And I looked on Twitter and people were complaining, and I was like, okay, they're complaining that nobody can get in there. But no, people were complaining about how bad it was and how like all these matches they were playing it. And I was like, what are you guys even talking about? There's like no tricolor lobbies to even get into. So apparently Team Scissors, which was the defending team, was forced into the tricolor lobbies whether they wanted to be in it or not. So I guess the game was having issues filling rock and paper, it had to be the fact that only 17% of people picked paper, right? Like it had to just be there were not enough paper folks to match the amount of rock folks that there were for the tricolor thing. But Scissors was playing it nonstop. So yeah, that probably got old fast. And keep in mind, the rotation changed every 2 hours, but Shipyard was still the only map that was available for Tricolor. So if you were Team Scissors, you did nothing but Tricolor Shipyard for 6 straight hours, basically. So yeah, that's probably not fun. I can understand that. I really hope that day one they release in private battle the option to do this right from the jump instead of having to wait through, like, it was 2 years of Splatfest before they start releasing the Splatfest stages into private battle. I hope this, like, day one I can do a tricolor just so I can test out the different things with my friends, because, like, again, 3 hours and you only got in 4 times versus the other team who had no choice but to play it. There was clearly some coding issues. And again, I think it had something to do with the amount of people that picked certain things. So be it. But I was just confused when I got on Twitter and saw people complain about Tricolor. And I was like, I can't even play it. What are you guys talking about? It also probably didn't help that Shipyard was the thing. I saw somebody tweet out like, oh, here's a diagram that proves Shipyard is not good for Tricolor, and it's just a bunch of arrows coming out of a spawn, and it's like that's supposed to prove that Shipyard was bad or something. I didn't get that. Maybe I'm not smart enough to figure out what all those arrows that person put meant, or it could just be wrong, but I mean, it got a lot of likes, so that means it's correct. That's how Twitter works, right? But so be it. I think a Splatfest stage designed specifically for nothing but Tricolor would be better, but it can't just be Shipyard next month again, right? Right? Who knows? But that has nothing to do with competitive. And that's what you guys are here for. This is a competitive podcast. Ain't no casuals here, unless you really, really like me, which, not here to judge. I'm happy you're here regardless. I liked experiencing the new things. The bow seemed like it needs to just be figured out. I don't know. It seems different. It seems like a mix between Charger and Splatling to some extent. It doesn't feel like Charger and it doesn't feel like Splatling, but you can tell it's the same kind of class because it is a charged weapon. I just feel like it needs to be figured out how to use that sucker properly. So I'm not willing to write it off yet. I just think we need like a Biscuit who taught us that Nautilus can be used very effectively. We need somebody like that once the game actually comes out to kind of lab that sucker out. Splatana, damn, that thing sucks. That thing is pretty bad. I think it's fun. I think it's I think it's a fun weapon to use, but as far as competitive goes, it my gosh, it needs help. It needs to be buffed. Or if you got a weapon in competitive, it either needs to paint really well or slay really well, or some combination of both. That Splatana does not paint well, and it is a wet noodle. It does not kill very well at all. Those are major red flags as far as competitive goes. And also it can't, man, the kit, that hammer, I didn't use the hammer, but I also never died to the hammer during the Splatfest. It just seemed like there were times where people were just hitting everything but me with the hammer. And it was like, okay, thanks. But yeah, the Splatana really underwhelmed me with that. If you are an armor bot though, you've probably been worried these last couple of months. Oh no, armor's not in the game. What am I going to do? I'm used to just going off on the map, painting, popping armor, and then coming in and getting more armor for my teammates while the Slayers do all the work. And I sit on the tower. What am I going to do without armor? That question got answered, didn't it? It got answered real fast on Saturday. Turns out there's this thing called the Tentacooler juice. We call it the juice. I think we called it Bevs at some point. I don't like that. I like the juice a lot better. Oh my goodness. This thing was not play tested. Or maybe this is the play test for the juice thing. It's pretty wild. It is absolutely wild. So if you didn't play it, here's what happens. If you get a sip of the soda, your movement speed is increased. I think just swim speed, not your run speed. But more importantly, if you die, you come back instantly. You come back within a second. And also your special meter does not get deplenished at all. At all. It encourages feeding, and that is what North American Slayers are best known for, is feeding. If you got a sip of juice and you trade with somebody who doesn't have a sip of the juice, it's not a trade anymore. You won. Because you're going to come back with your special way faster than the person you traded against. Juice is broken. It needs to be nerfed. I thought initially looking at the trailer, I got to throw it down and teammates got to come pick it up. That just makes you a sitting target. We can just mow you down. And that might be the case in some of the other modes. You got to be clever with where you put it down in a spot where, more importantly, your Slayers need to get it. As an anchor player, I really didn't need to get it that many times. I mean, it's helpful if it's right next to me. I'll go grab it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get the juice. But I want my Slayers to be chugging that thing like nothing else. That thing is just designed for North America players. And that's trouble. That is trouble. The only good thing I can say about the juice thing, it's at least you can't just pop it away from the action. You can't just, go off the useless and build it up and pop it. You got to at least get into the action and throw it down to where your Slayers are and then fight with them. So it forces you to still be engaged. So I like that, but it needs to come back down to earth a little bit. Just a little bit, if not more, because at this point, if you go into competitive and you don't have an in-zap in your comp, you're throwing. It's a requirement. You are required to have an in-zap in your comp. Maybe two, quite honestly. We played against some teams, keep in mind it's Turf War, who did double in-zap, and you just couldn't kill them. You would kill them and they'd just come right back. It's Splatoon 1 all of a sudden, and they come back and they got their special ready to go. That's tough. But there it is. Now, as good as the juice is it so good that we need to ban it as a community? Because that's something that came up this past week as people were hacking their games to show some stuff in it a little bit early. Not so much that we need to ban the juice, but we need to ban the Tenta missiles. That's right. We went through an entire year and a half of nothing but missile spam, and it's only just now that we're starting to have the conversation that we need to ban missiles from competitive. Okay. As I mentioned, some people hacked their Switch so they could get access to some of the features that weren't in the Splatfest. Somebody posted a video, like a 2-second video, of them firing missiles. That's it. It looked exactly like what you do with missiles in Splatoon 2. It's the same daggum thing. And people were just like, oh, it's buffed. They're coming out faster. They buffed missiles. Why would they do this? And it's like, you can tell it's buffed based off of a 2-second clip from somebody's hacked Switch. Okay. I feel like some of you, it's not even fair to call it a knee-jerk reaction. I think some of you kick your leg up as soon as you see the doctor pull out the mallet. It's like, stop and just think for a minute. And I've seen some people suggest or flat out say that they are banning missiles from their tournament. And I honest to God, don't think any of them are serious. I hope they're not serious, because it's so ridiculous to even entertain that thought. But the Popcast is based on ridiculousness, so let's entertain that thought. There are 2 reasons why banning missiles from competitive is a bad idea. Number 1. There are only 2 weapons in Splatoon 3 that have missiles at launch. Flingza, which admittedly you could spam a lot of missiles with Flingza in Splatoon 2. And GooTuber. GooTuber has missiles. The weapon that might be the very worst weapon in Splatoon 2, mainly because the kits are kind of bad. But GooTuber and Flingza are the only weapons that have missiles. Now, more weapons are going to get missiles after the launch. How much more, I'm not insanely sure. You feel like since there's so many specials that there's only going to be a handful of more weapons that get 10 missiles since they got to distribute all their other new stuff first. But this mindset that we're going to start banning GooTuber from competitive Splatoon. Like, if you want to run the same kind of missile spam comp that people run today, with shooters, by the way, there were shooters that have missile spam in Splatoon 2. None of the weapons I just mentioned are shooters. It's a charger and a roller. If you want to run missile spam, run double Flingza and GooTuber. I'm not breaking any news here, unless I am. But we are going to allow you to run double Flingza, GooTuber, and Low Ink. Go for it. Knock yourself out. If you think that's the winning combination, okay, go off and do it. Have fun with that. We'll see how that works. So that's reason number 1 why banning missiles is ridiculous. Reason number B. We never banned VJet, right? Like, we never banned double K-shot. We never banned VDS or Orange InZap. We didn't ban any of that stuff in Splatoon 2, right? Like, we allowed that to go on. Like, we allowed you to pick up a VJet and literally not play the game. Literally, at the top highest of levels, you could pick up VJet and just straight up not play the game. Just sit at the top of Skipper Pavilion, paint mid, fire missiles, rinse and repeat. Like, we let people get away with that. And we were fine with, well, maybe not fine, but a year and a half of that. And you're going to sit here and tell me that we've established a line now, and underneath the line is VJet double K-shot, but somehow over the line is GooTuber now. GooTuber is more broken than VJet? Are you kidding me? Like, if you didn't ban it then, why would you start banning it now? It makes absolutely no sense. And that's why I don't think anybody was actually serious about that. Now, banning things in general is a Pandora's box. Because what we know is broken day 1 of this game is going to be nerfed and patched out weeks, if not a few months afterwards, and constantly updated every other month or so with new patches for 2-3 years. They announced that updates were going to be coming out for the game. So to sit here and say we're going to ban something, you're just going to have to unban it when it gets fixed anyways. So if you ban something from the start, you're just opening up this Pandora's box of, well, why aren't you just going to ban the next meta? Why didn't we ban K-Pro when MPU first came out? We never banned K-Gal. We never banned the quad shooter comp. We never banned Ballpoint. Remember when Ballpoint had Hydra range? People complained about Ballpoint all the live long day. But Pop God, I love the Ballpoint meta. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You complained about it like nothing else. We didn't ban any of those things. But if you ban missiles, you set the precedent that you are going to have a line in the sand somewhere. And now, whenever the new meta comes around, and it just is seen as something people don't like, because people are not going to like whatever the current meta is. That's how the meta works. But once you start banning things, you set the precedent that other things can be banned as well. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm totally against banning things from tournaments. I'm not. I mean, we ban maps all the time. We've already done that. Brawl has banned Meta Knight all those years ago. There's a heavy movement to ban Steve. I don't know if Steve's banned from Ultimate or not, but that was a pretty serious conversation going on for the past couple of months with the Ultimate scene. But and Japan has banned double Stingray comps before, back when Stingray was broken. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to ban things. I'm just saying, if we're going to start banning things, it needs to be better thought out than banning GooTuber. That, I feel like that's a fair counter argument to make. Like, let's maybe think about this a little bit more rather than just watching a 2-second clip and go, we need to get GooTuber out of there. That thing is unbeatable. Okay, sure. Great. Regardless of that, with the maps as well, we've already announced we're going to do everything. Probably this first low link. I don't know what maps we're going to allow for like counter picks. I don't know if it's a good idea to allow every single map to be counter picked the first low link, because that's a lot. Like having 12 different clan blitz maps to pick from can be a little overwhelming, but you also don't want to set the precedent at the very beginning of the game of, nope, Wahoo World's gone. I don't know what Wahoo World looks like yet. I don't know what Wahoo Rainmaker, you don't know what Rainmaker looks like on any of these modes yet. You don't know if the Art Academy, if got reworked to where you cannot do the cheese up the little step area with the Rainmaker. You don't know where all the pedestals are going to be. So you still got to play through the game and figure it out. And I saw somebody talking about a universal map list. I've always been in favor of that. It's hard to get everybody on board with that, and you're not going to please everybody. There's a team called Camp Triggerfish Supremacy, for Christ's sake. There's a whole set of people that are brainwashed into thinking that map is not garbage, so like you're not going to make everybody happy, but you at least got to play through these things first. And that's what I was like doing. I liked playing through it. I had fun playing this game. I'm not sure about the ranked modes because we didn't see that. We still haven't seen the VOD save feature, the table turf thing, which I think some of you in chat might be interested in. But you're still not going to be able to beat me. And I don't know if it feels like a new game or if it just feels like new things added to Splatoon 2 in general. I don't know if this is... I don't know if it's fair to say it's not a Call of Duty thing where it's just, here's just an updated version of the game. I don't really care because, in all honesty, I had fun playing it. And I foresee myself having just as much, if not more fun, playing the actual ranked modes and send out queue and playing in tournaments with my team. That's all I really care about, is if I can have fun. This game is this escapism for me. This podcast is escape. It's a way to escape reality. It's storming outside. I don't want to deal with that. I want to feel like I'm 8 years old again, bringing a brand new video game home and recapturing that excitement feeling and just creating more memorable moments with my friends. That's what Splatoon 3 allowed me to do on Saturday, and I feel like it's going to allow me to do the same exact thing for many years to come. Looking through the highlighted stuff. I'm not answering the phone call. Harry said, to be honest, that's probably due to how few people were on Team Paper. I'm assuming about the tricolor thing. Yes, I think that, I'm sure there was some sort of programming hiccup along the way. I'm not a computer person, so I don't know, but my assumption, being the technologically challenged person that I am, is that Paper just didn't have enough people to fill those lobbies when you needed all three teams. I honestly, in the 4v4 battles, I feel like we faced other rock teams just as often as we faced another Paper team. It was just us fighting scissors most of the time. Epic Pikachu Scissors was forced into tricolor battles about 80% of the time. It was so painful, can vouch. Yep, I can understand. I didn't experience it, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Mr. Rookie, I feel like the Tacticooler could be cooled down a bit and be used as a compensation for making a mistake rather than feeling like you can be reckless with it. Yeah, I mean, it encourages you to hold forward and feed if you got juice. That's how it's designed. And fair enough, it shouldn't just be a get out of jail free card for holding forward. There should still be a little bit of setback for it. Delta didn't leave a highlighted message, but added me, so I'll read it anyways because we like Delta. There's already been a data mine with all. Yeah, I talked about that. I don't want to. I want to see the actual thing versus just the overhead thing first. All right, that's enough of that. Believe it or not, there were tournaments last week. A significant number of tournaments. So let's run through them. It is time now for the weekly recap. SOS number 80 was won by Gas Prices yet again. They beat Team Soleil 4-1 in their rampage across SOS yet again. Fartos, who is the team I picked to be the favorite to win the upcoming SIC finals until I saw what the Ducks did in paddling pool, finished third place in this tournament here. Hammerhead was won by... All right, let's talk about this real quick. Hammerhead was won by Walk Nation. It's either a deep fake or these guys are legit. I can't tell which it is. But I told you they're just allegedly smurfing. It wasn't confirmed. And if they are, then they're just going to keep riding it out and see what they can do. But they won Hammerhead. At the very least, we did the right thing of recognizing that they were too good for Low Link, regardless of who they actually are. Make a Bracket was won by Sonaria, and Lantern was won by Wild Cards. I want to see more Gas Prices. And they seem to be playing pretty consistently. So, that's exciting to see. Shine 2022 was won by Cherry Limeade, Your Mom, a.k.a. Power, Hunty, Hope, and Storm, the Storm from Campfire, finished in second place, and Stargaze finished in third. I was really impressed with Stargaze. Stargaze was a super solid mid-level team back in the day, but I think some of their players had some college stuff pop up or something. They kind of disappeared, and they had come back and played recently, and it was obvious they were a little rusty, but you could tell the rust was wearing off in Shine. Yeet started to show us who Yeet really was with those Galugas. Stargaze taking a game off of Cherry Limeade and Your Mom, finishing in third place right there. But Cherry Limeade, impressive win for them. I think it was a tournament designed for them to get to grand finals. I didn't think they would be favored over Your Mom, but they took it to them, and they got some convincing wins and bounced back from a 4-game losing streak, including 2 matches they lost on Inkblot Art Academy, which was a map they were counterpicking. So they lost on that twice and still won the whole tournament. I think it came down to Krim just flat out refusing to let Cherry Limeade lose. At some points, Krim just was obviously the best player in the entire lobby, and just refused to let Cherry Limeade lose. So great for them. They are the only Splatoon team to ever win Shine, and they beat Your Mom. That's I guess that's impressive to some extent. 9 teams played overall in Shine, and we'll talk more about that coming up, obviously. 4v4 Sundays was won by Galaxy. Have no idea who that is. They 3-0 Jackpot in grand finals, and Hedgehog, and no idea who that is either, took third place. Some big names played in 4v4 Sunday, but it wasn't streamed or promoted to viewers at all. If it was, I didn't see it. I didn't even know this tournament was going on until ProChara tweeted out that they got eliminated from it. This is a fantastic tournament that just doesn't get any views outside of high level. This thing would get more views with low ink if it had a stream. That's a fact. And that's your weekly recap, sponsored by GooTuber Propaganda. If you have been running the GooTuber Propaganda account, this is probably the first time anybody has ever cared about you. Congratulations. Your weapon went from being the most hilarious, memeable weapon in the game to so good it's the first weapon ever to be banned from competitive Splatoon. Ever! That is quite a jump. And all you had to do was give it missiles. GooTuber Propaganda, the official sponsor of today's episode of the Weekly Recap. GooTuber. What a time to be alive. Now, as mentioned earlier, Rissa is in the air somewhere right now. So let's rewind our brains back to about 3-4 hours ago. And let's talk to Rissa then. Welcome into the Popcast. Head TO for one of the head TOs for Low Tide City, Shine, and also commentator for one of the Nintendo Inkopolis showdowns, the fourth one. Welcome in, Rissa, to the Popcast live from the how's morale at the Boston International?
It's actually really good right now. My security took forever, but besides that, good.
Security. How long was the line? Like, how long did it take?
It
Like
was
an
weird.
hour?
It took like 30 minutes, and it was weird because the line was short, but for some reason we were just standing there in like one spot for like 30 minutes, and I didn't know why, but we made it.
And you had to take a train ride to the station, right? That's what my wife did. Yes, she said the ride is like an hour and a half by train.
I got really lucky because I had one friend pick me up from the airport, and then a different friend drop me off. So everyone else they had to take a bus to the train station and then the train station to the city that the event was at.
Okay, so that's kind of what I imagined it being. I've traveled to New York before, and
Hmm.
you have to you land at LaGuardia, and then you take a bus to somewhere, and then you got to take a train to somewhere. I like just driving personally, but I know
Yeah.
that's kind of an issue. Things. Uh, so hey, how did Shine go from your perspective?
Shine went really, really well. We barely had any hiccups, which was really good. And I think with the help of Mr. K-Bot, like being able to teach all of us previously, Siren and I and Magic kind of already knew some stuff, but Siren and I like really got taught by K-Bot how to do things at Low Tide City. So this weekend we didn't even have to panic DM him for anything, which was really nice. We just did everything, went nice and smooth. The venue had some water issues, but other than that, that was pretty much it, and it went really well.
Yeah, that's I got a little bit of the lowdown from my wife already because I picked her up
Mm,
yesterday at the airport. Something about they didn't have like those usual water stations that we're kind of used to getting at Riptide and Low Tides, and even Genesis had them.
hmm.
Genesis 7, I remember those. So it was just like one water fountain thing, and there was some sort of restriction on what kind of water bottles you could bring in.
Yeah, you couldn't bring in for like the first 2 days. You couldn't bring in your own. We could bring in empty water bottles, but then you had to fill them up at like normal water fountains, like the ones that you had in like elementary school or high school. And then you couldn't bring in unsealed water bottles. So, and there weren't, like you said, there were no water stations, so everyone was just kind of struggling. And that was one of the things that we talked about with like the TOs of the event of making that a thing and how it's like previously been a thing at other events. So hopefully that will be in the future a fixed problem.
Was there you kind of mentioned Low Tide City, and we all knew that was a bit of the passing of the torch kind of situation from K-Bot to you, Siren, and the rest of the IPL staff, and you guys were just gonna separate and go off on your ways and spread the word
Mhm.
of land Splatoon to across to the masses there. What was the one thing you took away from Low Tide City that you learned from Low Tide City that you implemented in the Shine?
That's a good question. Um, let's see. I think the main thing I really figured out at low tide was like the flow of things and like how like you're supposed to be doing this at this time during the event, or like this time is designated for setup, this time is it designated for helping people, this time's designated for doing stuff on start GG, and like, oh wait, do you hear that announcement?
I just heard a little bit of the overhead. That's nothing dangerous happening, is there?
No, it's just a flight announcement, we're good.
Okay, cool.
um but yeah, anyways, just the flow of things, and like knowing, basically like knowing when to be on, and like you got to be on your game, and then knowing when you can sit back for a second, people can take food breaks. Just knowing how K-Bot like structured that and how he had us do that type of stuff was what I really took away from low tide specifically.
Whenever I see a TO working one of these land events, they never look happy. or,
Yeah.
but I remember watching
Yeah.
you seem very chill at Low Tide City, but now that it was you're one of the head faces for this thing, were you able to kind of relax during this event, or was it really stressful getting through it?
I think so at low tide I was more kind of shadowing K-Bot in a way, and that was more chill. So K-Bot was the one stressing out mostly. This one I felt more of the stress, and like it's like weird because you have this thing that you need to be doing. I need to be figuring out what matches are going to be streamed right now. And then all of a sudden there's like 10 people coming up to you at once for like questions, or someone needs to figure out how to get water and complaining about not having water. And it's just like, ugh, it's like really stressful with everything going on all at once.
Were you able to get some time to just kind of interact with people on a just like a personal social kind of level? I mean, I know there was no fire pit, but were you still able to like just have time to chat with people?
Yeah, definitely. I took a lot of time like there at the event chatting with people in the middle of working. Um, and then late at night, I went to different dinners with different people, and then hung out at different. I went to a bar one night, and then I went to a big Airbnb that a bunch of people were at. So I was up till like 3 a.m., but I did find ways to hang out with people.
Okay, but 3 a.m. there, that's just like normal midnight for you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fair enough. Okay, cool. That's good. Other than my wife, who you were excited to meet the most?
Miss Top Gun. I got to have. She was one of the people I got to have dinner with, which was really cool.
Was that at the
And it was
ramen place?
not the ramen place. We went to some like a
Mm,
burger place,
okay.
and yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, and then besides Miss Popkin, of course, I was really, really excited to see Matt and Toby because they came all the way from the UK.
Right.
So I honestly would never thought I would ever be able to meet them. So that was like one of the highlights for me.
Was that your first time meeting Austie as well in person?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it was. He was really, really cool to meet too. There were like, I feel like I could just name off so many cool people. I got to meet Luna. I got to meet Brushstrokes, and like, there's just so many people like that just come to mind that were just really, really awesome to meet.
The the presence of Splatoon 3 at the event.
Oh
Would
my
you
gosh.
I saw you tweeting about it pretty much the
Yes.
entire weekend. Is it now we knew going into it that once we found out what the release date was is that Shine it it wouldn't be as big as what we would hoped it would be. And then they slapped on, well, here's the demo right on top of it as well. Have fun with that. But there was some stations set up, so I know people were playing it during
Hmm.
the actual demo. Is it fair to say that the presence of Splatoon 3, would you classify it as a distraction or something that just added to the atmosphere there?
Good question. I would say it really, really added to the atmosphere, and because so there were two pools, and then we were actually really, really ahead of schedule. So between the first and the second pool, there was a big break, and then the second pool and the first part of the bracket, there was another big break. And usually, when there's big breaks like that at lands, people will leave and then come back when they need to. But on Saturday, everyone literally just stayed there, and every single station was full. Even on the stage, people were all playing Splatfest for Splat 3. And it was just a really magical moment. I was talking to Nine about it too. And it was just like, this is a really cool feeling. And it just feels like it almost like exceeded my LAN expectations and of like that type of camaraderie. And it was really nice.
Okay, good. Because I was kind of worried about it.
Yeah.
It's just, I was watching the stream the entire weekend because I was modding it from back here safely at home. And just the Saturday stream, I was like, oh gosh, I forgot this is going on because I'm playing the demo and I'm so having so much fun with the
Right.
demo myself.
Hmm.
And every now and then when I peeked over at the stream, they were playing the demo. Like the commentators were playing the demo
Yeah.
live at
Right.
some points. Um,
Yeah.
did you get to play at all?
Okay, so funny thing is I forgot to pre-download it, and
Oh,
so
okay.
I was trying to download it on the first big break between the two pools, and the Wi-Fi there and my hotspot were not working. And then Magic, during the second break, Magic came in clutch with his hotspot and let me use it, and I was able to download it and play like two games, and then we had to start the bracket again. But I did get to play two games, and I will take that.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to because you're never going to get that experience again.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I got to watch a whole lot of people play it. So
Fair enough. Hey, less than 2 weeks, you'll be able to play it to your heart's content.
true.
And
Very
you're not
true.
going to Riptide, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you'll get to actually enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
on launch
Mm-hmm.
day. That's fair trade off there.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday comes back around, and then everybody realizes, oh yeah, Shine's going back on. So everybody piled on. Everyone watched the stream. It was a good little event there. Grand
Yeah.
finals was fantastic. I didn't going into it. I didn't know. I knew Cherry Limeade was going to be good. I didn't know how competitive they were going to be
Yeah.
against Powers Pickup, but
Mm-hmm.
the winners finals they win. They win very convincingly
Mm-hmm.
and was able to find a way to bounce back after losing four in a row to grand finals. So you
Mm-hmm.
got a really great set on stream, which is what we didn't really get at Low Tide City. So what was the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere like during grand finals?
During grand finals, it was everyone was really hype, and especially because so many people in the crowd like know and look up to both of those teams, both of the players on both teams. So everyone was really, really hype, and the fact that the games were like that close and that back and forth just made it way, way, way more hype. And like you said, like low tide kind of wasn't like necessarily such close games. So this one was it was really cool to be in the crowd for that.
What about some of the games that were off stream? Were there any games that we didn't get to see that aren't being recorded? Like they're just lost to time. They're just the only thing we have about them is what we is like stories that we tell about them. Were there any interesting sets we didn't get to see?
None really that stood out to me. It wasn't like, at Riptide. I remember who was it? It was Marsha's team and Azur, I think. And like everyone was gathered around the table watching, and it was like really hype. But we didn't have any actually like that at this event. I think since it was kind of a smaller event in terms of entries. One set that I do remember, it was Nine Save the Queen and Powers team, and that was fun to watch. In terms of knowing that the two knew each other really well, so that was fun. That was like the one thing that stood out to me in terms of sets that weren't streamed. It was fun watching friends banter and play against each other because they were like calling each other out and stuff.
Yeah, that's something obviously you can't do on an online tournament. It's
Hmm.
weird. I talked about this a Low Tide City. When you're off stream, you just look up and you make eye contact with your opponent, and it's weird. And when you're on stage, their back is to you. It's almost like playing on stream's the better thing because you can almost forget about your opponent in that
Yeah,
kind of
right.
sense.
Totally.
Um, so when just kind of like concluding Shine in general, I was just curious, when did you first know that Shine had an interest in Splatoon and that you and Siren would be the ones kind of taking the lead on that?
Um, I think it was before low tide. We knew that we were going to be putting on Splatoon at Shine, and K-Bot, briefly went over how we essentially are right now. This doesn't have to be, the rest of Splatoon's history, but like right now we're splitting up into me and Siren working together, and then Magic slash IPL. Um, and because we Siren and I have worked together previously, so we kind of had that synergy already. And so K-Bot told Siren and I we were going to do Shine before low tide. So we knew going into low tide that we were using that as practice for this and using it as a learning experience. And then as soon as low tide was over is when we just took the reins from K-Bot and just took over for Shine and lead. So we've been working on Shine since low tide.
Did you get the sense now that it's over that the people running like all of Shine, that they were happy that they brought in Splatoon and they kind of realized that there's a lot of distraction with the new game coming out, and that if they were to do it again next year, it might get a little bit of a different result?
Yes, that they definitely knew that I think it was really cool because the one of the owners of Shine, Hapless, he like actually really loves Splatoon, so he's the reason we were able to get it at Shine. And he was like, because we felt really bad almost. We were like, oh my gosh, we don't have like a ton of teams entering. And we're like, oh no. And it was really cool because he approached us and he was like, this is how Smash started their events and their big events. It's all has to start somewhere, and it all has to really be grassroots and have someone or a group of people that are willing to put in the time and money for something to grow. So we were worried about it being like, oh, maybe we can't come back next year, but then they were really accepting of knowing that like the event needed to start somewhere, and we're potentially, looking forward to it being a thing next year. And they weren't really worried about the distraction of the Splatfest or like entries looking into the future. So that was really cool.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that's the answer that you kind of gave there. One thing I've been talking a lot about on the podcast is I'm happy that we're getting all these new lands popping up, but I also kind of worry, is it too much? Are we spreading ourselves too thin, kind of thing? But I'm glad
Yeah.
that they're taking a chance. Like I said, Shine took a chance, and it seemed like from the people who went to the event, they were really excited, and they were really they left it feeling really good about going there. And then of
Hmm.
course you got Big House coming up and all that stuff. So I'm glad that Shine took a chance, and I hope they saw the value in it for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Now I'm not asking you to leak anything because I honestly don't know if you know the answer or not. But do
Hmm.
you get the sense now that Shine's taken a chance, Big House is taking a chance? Do you think there could be potential in the future for even more things like Smash events that already happened? Like, do you think we might be able to get back at Genesis and you don't have to fly across the country? You could just go up the road. Or like SmashCon or something like that. Do you get the sense that Smash TO's across the country are starting to buy into Splatoon?
I don't really like it's really unsure. I don't know if Splatoon will be going to other majors. I one thing I really kind of realized it comes down to money, and I think a lot of them right now, those events are maybe scared seeing just like how much money they might lose from it. So I don't know. I do really hope things like Don't Park on the Grass and Genesis could come back because I know so many people loved those. But I honestly am not sure. I think we're gonna just have to see how how many viewers and people are interested in Splatoon 3 after a few months. It's kind of up in the air.
I think we're all kind of waiting to see what especially the viewership is going to be
Yeah,
like for these things, and that's always been the struggle. Is we know there's an audience for this. The audience just has no idea these things exist.
right.
Um, but but hey, overall, it sounds like a success. It sounds like you enjoyed the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the important thing. What is this I'm hearing about a side chess tournament that was taking place on Sunday?
Oh,
Do you have any information on that?
um, so brush strokes like walked up and from my view of the TO desk, I just looked across a few tables and there was a chessboard just set up ready to go. And I know that Magic really wanted to do it, but he didn't have time because he was TOing. But I went up to Brushstrokes and I asked him about that, and I was like, "Wait, what's going on with the chessboard?" Because I didn't even like comprehend about that chess Splatoon tournament that happened. And he let me know. He told me about that, and then he said that he really wanted to fight Nine and Magic in person. So I know that Brush was able to uh, take on Nine, and I think he said that Nine beat him. He's like, yeah, it was kind of rough, but he's like, you know what? I just wanted to experience it.
Brush's small potatoes when it comes to chess. Nine's pretty good. And I lost to Magic in that tournament. I'm still salty about it. I completely threw that game. So, yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if I could Skype my way into that tournament somehow. That the little side event, that sounds kind of cool. Hey, congratulations on getting through the event. Are you happy that it's over in a sense, or is it more just like sad that it's over kind of thing?
Right now, and today, I wouldn't think I would say this out of land, but I am happy that it's over from a TO's perspective. But, if I think about all my friends that I don't get to see anymore, I do start to get into that, when I go as a player or commentator mindset of being sad. But right now, I'm just feeling relieved that it's over and I can just chill.
Do you know what the next event you're going to make an appearance at is? Like, I know you're not going to Riptide. Will you be at Big House?
Yes, I will be at Big House.
Okay.
And I'm just going as a player and commentator this time. So just to relax.
Yeah. Relax. Yeah. Now that you know what's
Relax.
going on behind the curtains, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead and plug yourself. I'm sure everyone who watches me knows who you are, but go ahead and who are you? Where can people find more about you?
Well, if you guys don't know me, my name is Rissa. My handle is below me, I think. Yes.
Yes.
Rissa High on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I focus on mostly commentating Splatoon, but I'm also a player. And I'm like everyone else, hoping to get content out there for Splatoon 3. So that's pretty much it.
Well, there you go. And I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule of traveling and I've always so you're the second person I've ever done the face cam interview with, and I've always
Yeah.
in my mind like it'd be really cool to just talk to somebody while they're at the airport instead of just when they're at their home or something. Get the little
Mhm.
like out and about feel to it. So
Yeah. I wonder if I could. I was like gonna see if I could flip my camera around, but yeah, I know. I went because I was worried. I was like, oh, the quality might be janky, the sound might be janky, and I love that you were like, no, I love that. Let's do it. And I was like, I'm down.
The sound works out. So there we go. Thank you again. Enjoy your flight. And
Thank you.
you got to go back to work tomorrow?
Yes,
No.
unfortunately, but
At
luckily
least,
I work from home, so
okay. And it's good that you're losing hours going back instead of,
right.
or
Yeah.
gaining hours or whatever. All right. There we go. That was Rissa. Thanks you again. So that was Rissa, head TO for the, or not the head TO, but one of the head TOs along with Siren for the Splatoon side of the event. I really like how honest she was about. That was a really good interview. She was really honest about a lot of things, especially when I asked about the potential future of Splatoon at other lands. She was like, "Well, yeah, but there's also some financial stuff that go into it. There is, it's not just like, oh, I'm creating a new tournament online. If it doesn't work, then so be it. If the land tournament doesn't work, then somebody's out of some cheddar there. There is a lot of money invested into these things. I do want to point out Hapless Heroes in chat, and Hapless Hero left a comment that I guess you guys can see now on YouTube, but I'll read it out here because I like this as well. All I can say is I went Splatoon 3 at 2023, and I can definitely say the other Smash Grassroots majors are all different staff who probably don't know or want Smash or Splat necessarily. Yeah, it's again, it's good that some of these organizations are taking a chance, and that's all we can really do is just appreciate that the chance is being given, the opportunities being given. Um, so we'll see how other things go down the road. But regardless of what happens in the future, as I'm getting in my advanced stage that I'm at now, I realize the only real value on living on planet Earth is to create as many memories as you possibly can before you die. And events like this allow you to create more memories. So, and from everyone I talked to who went to Shine, it seems like they all got some really great memories out of that. And especially Cherry Limeade, who won the whole doggone thing in impressive fashion. So there you go. That's going to do it for this episode of the Popcast. If you'd like to be a part of the podcast in any way, Turk, my man. Yes, it's been a while since you've seen this. This has been a thing for a bit. What up, Turkey? Like to be a part of the podcast anyway, feel free to reach out to me on socials below. Twitter at Mr_Popgun, Discord Popgun, hashtag 5882, YouTube at 25Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25, Anchor.fm/Popgun. TikTok Mr_Popgun as well. We able to raid? We are. Stay safe, get vaccinated. Thanks for surviving the airports in Boston, I guess, and the train rides. We'll see you guys next week.